Hey there, everyone. Hope you're well. Neil from Rating Horses. This is a follow up from our email sent last week concerning the new exciting colour code feature within our spreadsheets. Let's click over to the example sent over to you last week. Now, I'm going to keep this short. Um, as normal, whenever I schedule something like this in, I seem to come down with a cold or a sore throat. My voice is just about hanging out. So I'm going to keep this as short as possible. I do want to say more information throughout the week via email will be sent concerning the criteria, how the color coding works, all the testing that has been done. Um, so I'm not going to bore you too much with that. What I will say is this testing, this angle, this strategy has been in the making now for around a year. Those members that have been with us that time will know that we touched on this around a year ago. This is something that has not been left to rot. This is something me and my team have been working on for a year, and we believe we've got this as good as we're going to get it now. We've done so much testing on different types of races, um, small fields, big fields, certain amount of fields, certain amount of different courses, um, flat racing, all weather racing, national hunt racing. We've done everything. Believe you me, we've not left a stone unturned. We have messed around with doing positive steps as well as negative steps, but we have dismissed the negative steps. Um, and this will come clearer as I go through this particular race with you. But as I say, don't worry if you don't grasp the idea of this today. There will be more information and possible videos if my voice holds out coming throughout the week. But ideally, there's one set criteria, and that is something we must adamant is the was one set criteria you must stand to, and that is that the race must have 8 or more runners. The reasoning for this is because we are looking for value, we're looking for each way value, and the more runners, to be honest, the better, because when you've got 14, 16, 20 plus runners, bookmakers offer more places, 5, 6, 7, 8 places. Those sort of races like the Cheltenham Festival and the Grand National Meeting, bookmakers do offer more bonus places, and that's where the each way value is. Now, we're not necessarily looking for winners. We are looking for horses that are going to consistently finish in the frame at bigger odds than our odds column suggests they should be. This is the whole key about this new angle. This strategy is finding consistent, good value horses. Now, as I say, there's one stringent criteria. There must be 8 or more runners. We would say stick to handicap races, group races, listed races. Don't mess with novice races and maiden races just because some of the criteria that we're going to be using, if horses haven't run very often or haven't run at all, then some of that criteria, key criteria, will be missing. So we're ideally looking for handicap races where horses have had multiple runs and the full criteria is there. Now, the criteria that we're going to use is basically there in front of you. There's no need to scroll across the spreadsheet. We will be looking at the general ratings, this first column. We'll be looking at flat races. We'll be looking at the draw column, see if there's any highlighted draw bias horses there. We'll be looking at the course, distance, and course and distance columns here. And then finally, we'll be looking for the OF strategy rank column, the speed column, and the power rating column. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns. Okay, and what we're also going to do is use like a traffic light system. Okay, We're going to highlight all horses will be highlighted in red to begin with. And then when we find a positive, that color coding will change from red to orange, orange to yellow, yellow to white, and then finally white to green. And we're looking for horses when we've done all the criteria for horses that are highlighted in green. Before then, we look over to see if that horse is offering value. So I'm going to go quickly through this race today, and my screen is a little bit shorty, but what I would say is you enable and edit your spreadsheet. Click the button on the top of your spreadsheet saying edit or enable, and then you can edit the spreadsheet as you see fit. So quickly go over these columns, and then we're going to go to the color coding and just click red. Okay, and that's what you do with each color coding. You just swap and change the different colors. If you make a mistake, there's arrows at the top just to go back. So I'm going to keep this sweet because I am struggling with my voice. Don't worry if you don't get the grasp of this now, because all the criteria, all the step guides, all the colors, and all the information is going to be sent in future emails throughout the week. And I just wanted to show you this as an example. So for most of these columns, we're only looking for the top three horses. Okay, so first of all, the general ratings, the top three, and then we go down from from red to orange. And the top three, we highlight those go from red to orange. Then we're looking for horses that may be possibly highlighted yellow or green in the draw column. This, of course, only takes into account flat races. Here we got those three. So those are going from red to orange, and Glory High there. These are positives. That's red to orange. Now, every step of criteria goes down one grade, one color coding, except for these three columns: the course, the distance, and the course and distance columns. Now, if a horse is ticked in the course and distance column, that is classed as 2 steps. And if a horse like May Blossom here is ticked twice, one in the course and one in the distance column, again, that is 2 steps. So let me show you what I mean. So Charlie Mason has got 1 tick. So Charlie Mason is now going from orange to yellow. Remember, the colour coding is red, orange, yellow, white, green, a little bit like the traffic lights, as it were. May Blossom has 2 ticks, so that goes from orange to yellow to white. So we highlight that in white. Aberema Gold is 1, so that orange to yellow. This is course and distance winner, so that's 2 steps, remember. So that's from red to orange to yellow. And then we got Spirit of Applause 1, that's red to orange. These three will all be the same, so that's orange to yellow. Cat's Bob, red to orange. Glory Hide, orange to yellow. Act of Violence, red to orange. And finally, Hoodie Hoo, red to orange. And that's that. Now, say the color coding will be given in your emails. It's 5 steps: red, orange, yellow, white, green. Okay. And we're doing all this because at the end of going through the criteria, we're looking for horses that are highlighted in green. Okay. So we've done those first few steps, and now we concentrate on the rank for the OF, speed, and power rating. Again, we're only looking for the first 3. That is it, first 3. So the first one rank is Aberema Gold, so it goes yellow to white. And then we've got Blind Beggar, which will be yellow to white. And then finally Geneva, which will be yellow to white. To the speed, and now we go to Geneva, that goes from white to green. So that is our first green highlighted horse. Second rank there is Abermago, that goes from white to green. And finally, Blind Beggar goes from white to green. And we must also double check that the speed rank there is 2 there, joint third. So Glory High goes yellow to white. Finally, the power rating columns. Charlie Mason, yellow to white. Second is Fantasy Master, goes yellow to white. And third ranked is Bona Fortuna, yellow to white. Now, if you've got a horse that is highlighted in green and it's still ranked in the first three, it just stays green. Okay, it just stays green. So, doing those quick criteria, and believe you me, you'll rattle through races once you've got your head around it very, very quickly. We can see that 3 horses are highlighted in green, and those are the only 3 that we're invested in. You may go through some races where there's 5 or 6 green highlighted horses. You might go through a race where there's only 1. You may even go through a race, and it happens from time to time, where there's no green highlighted selection, so you dismiss that race. And then finally, we're looking at this column here, column A to C, AC, sorry. This column gives us what we believe the price of what each horse should be. So we can see here that the top one, I know it's highlighted in white, but this is an example. Charlie Mason, Charlie Mason. This horse should be around 6 to 1, just a bit bigger than 6 to 1 because this is decimal 7.19. So Charlie Mason's 6 to 1 or bigger to offer any sort of value. If it isn't offering value, you dismiss that horse. Okay. Now, ideally, you're doing this 15 to 30 minutes before the race. Okay, because the odds are live, the odds are fresh, the markets have been perfectly formed, but you can, of course, do this the evening before racing when you receive your ratings. Okay, so if a horse is offering you big value, far bigger than what our odds suggest this horse, this is one you should highlight. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through this now slightly differently because, of course, this is a race from Thursday. This is a race that was shown in your example sent to you last week. So I have got the race open, the 3:35 at Nottingham, and I'm going to go through these horses. So Aberimo Gold, the first of the green horses. Our odds suggesting this horse should be 13.43, which is around 12.5 to 1. Okay, if we look for Aberema Gold, it finished third. This went off at the 4 to 1 favourite. Okay, so was offering no value whatsoever. We looking for 12.5 to 1 or bigger. So that horse would have been dismissed straight away. The next one was Blind Beggar. This horse is suggesting to this horse should be around 10 to 1, 10.5 to 1 for us to be interested. If we can scroll down, Blind Beggar and a Poor Race. This horse was indeed offering value at 12 to 1, so around 1.5 points bigger than what our odds column suggests. So you'd make a note of that. Blind Beggar is offering value about 1.5 points bigger than what our odds suggested. We go to Geneva, our third and final green horse, and our horse suggested this should be around 14 to 1, around 13.5 to 14 to 1. That's ideally what we're looking for. And we can see that this horse Geneva returned the 33 to 1 SP. I do believe this horse actually touched 40 to 1 just before the off, so was offering massive value. So out of the 2 horses that were offering value, this was the one that was offering by far the biggest value, and that is the one we would be on. Now, if you've got 2 horses that are offering value, you've got a decision to be made there. Do you back the one that's offering the most value, or do you back both? And of course, you could back both. This is completely up to you. The idea is to find these horses that are hidden, offering value, looking for those extra places that the bookmakers are offering. So if you've got a couple of horses that are offering value, by all means back them both. But if you want to just stick to one, you stick to the one that is offering the most value. And on this occasion, it was Geneva, and this is the one that returned a 33 to 1, massive odds of over 60 on Betfair SP. Of course, now some bookmakers allow you just to back in the place market, the William Hills, and Bet365. You can do that on your place markets for your main high street bookmakers, and you could also then back for bigger odds on Betfair, more than double well, nearly double the industry SP there. So that is the way we've been finding value. Of course, when you're looking for bigger odds, excuse me, at 16, 20 to 1, 33 to 1, 50 to 1, you don't necessarily need to find winners to show a profit. Okay. Some bookmakers, the bigger the fields, will offer 4, 5, 6, 7, even 8 places in some of the bigger races. So you're getting value, you're getting more places, and you're getting better opportunities to make a profit. As I say, the only strict criteria is there's 8 or more runners. Ideally, I would suggest sticking to handicaps. Um, this will also work on lower grade handicaps. I have mentioned before, stay away from the grade 6 events where horses are so unpredictable and inconsistent. But the one thing with this strategy is, of course, if a horse, sometimes bookmakers struggle to price up a race um, well. When horses are so inconsistent, they do tend to offer a little bit more value. So, any sort of handicap race, 8 or more runners, or a listed or group race, as long as there's been all runners have had multiple runs, I would stay clear of your maidens and novices. Let's see if I can find an example here. Well, one there, look, novice race, where there's only a few of the runners that have had a run, and you can see that the key criteria here for the our OF algorithm, sorry, um, some horses do not have a rank. So ideally, you're looking for horses that have got, sorry, races that have got this full criteria. And of course, the more runners they have, the better the rating, the more beneficial it is to all of us. So there we go. I will be emailing, and if my voice holds out, doing new videos throughout the week. I will be drumming down on the different criteria, the color coding, and everything. Please don't worry if you haven't got the grasp of it yet. Believe you me, you will rattle through races and do color code a big field race in the space of a minute or two. Once you get your head around it, it is very, very straightforward. If you think of the like traffic lights, red, orange, yellow, white, green, it's pretty similar. 5 steps, and we're basically settling down on just 7 or 8 different criteria, and it has been very, very successful. It's something me and my team have worked extremely hard on for over a year. And well, we're very happy, and I think you're going to be too. I'll leave it there, and I will speak to you soon and be sending some more emails about this new strategy out very, very soon. Take care. Thank you.